All right, for this video, we're going to talk about how Leo and Pete wrote Clausula. So when we looked at Leo's Viderunt Omnes, we saw on 83 the kind of long, short, rhythmic mode rhythm. But the part that I'm really interested here in here is what's on page 85. It's this stretch, this bit. This bit. Which is what we call discant, right? When the voices move in much closer lockstep. Now, you can see down here where it says do. This actually goes back to one of the chants that we looked at in chapters 2 and 3. This is the original, we call it the OG Viderunt Omnes from the Mass for Christmas Day. And you can see this do here, do here, and these notes, which continues all the way over to here, this long melisma. So, we have D, C, C, A, C, D, C, B, C, D. And if we go back, yo, do, 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 or yo, do, do, we go back to Leo's, you'll see the same bit. Yo, same notes. Come on, pencil, there we go. Yo, do, 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 do. There's those first notes that I sung. So, rather than setting it in the florid organum style, where, every single note of the original chant gets many, many notes in the duplum, when the original chant becomes a melisma, like here, he switches to discant style. And most people think that that's because if you didn't switch to discant style on the melismas, the chant would literally take like half an hour. It would be so unbelievably long. And then, of course, when the melisma ends, he flips back to florid style. So this stretch here, this little bit of discant in here is called a clausula. To make it plural, you put an E at the end, clausulae. It's like a clause in a sentence or a contract, and it had a kind of appeal to these very smart composers in Notre Dame. The florid section offers a kind of freedom. There aren't a lot of restrictions or rules to play around with. Basically, all you have to do is wind up at a perfect consonance every once in a while with the original chant. It's kind of like playing a game on easy, right? The discant sections were trickier to compose, and they inspired more invention. And in that competitive context that I talked about on Tuesday, where you have lots of smart people all in the same place in Paris, more invention meant more prestige. It was like playing on hard mode and showing how good you are. So multiple versions of these clauses, these clausulae would be composed. It was kind of your chance to show what you could do with the material. It's kind of like if an artist takes another artist's bass line, kind of like Ice Ice Baby and Under Pressure, if you know about those. If you don't, you can look it up, or you can ask me later. But it's like taking someone else's bass line and saying, okay, well, this is what I can do with it. And these are called, when they do that, it's called a substitute clausula. Substitute clausula or substitute clausulae for the plural. If you think about it, a clause in a sentence can be replaced. So think of a sentence something like, he bought a car which was too expensive, so he returned it. That clause, which was too expensive, can be swapped out. He bought a car which burst into flames whenever it rained, so he returned it. He bought a car which was too ugly, so he returned it, right? It's also a little bit like Mad Libs, if you all know what those are. And so medieval musicians did this with clausula. If you turn to page 92, you'll see a bunch of three, I've got two of them here, substitute clausula that were composed for this section of Viderunt Omnes. And you can see, if you look at, the tenor voice, yo, da, 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 dum, yo, da, 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 dum. Same pitches. Now, they've grouped the rhythm a little differently, right? So this guy got his hands on it and mixed it up a little bit. So that's how he treated it. And then if you look at the other substitute clausula, same pitches again. Yo, da, 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 dum, yo, da, 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 da. Right? He's actually mixing things even up, grouping them differently. The rhythm is different, all the rest. So when Anonymous 4 said that Pete created many clausula, this is what he was talking about. Pete created a bunch of substitute clausula. Lots of different options for these particular moments. Whoa. Okay, that was weird. Lots of different options for these particular moments. They would actually be in the back of the book that the monks sang from. You'd have these appendices with dozens of possible substitutions for the chants. And if you think about it, this made sense because these folks were singing the same chants over and over again, and the substitute clausula livened things up, made things more lively. So for the next one, we're going to talk about that word abbreviavit.